Hello. Welcome to my channel. Oh, wow. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and today we're doing another review of Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 2, and this is called Home Sweet Drama. And this episode was 54 minutes, so a lot more happened in this episode than the last episode, and maybe I was more invested because it wasn't such a Robin heavy episode. So this might be a little bit longer than the last review, might be a little bit shorter. I'm trying really hard to cut down my reviews a little bit so they're not as overly detailed, because honestly, child, my reviews are as long as the episode, not longer. And yeah, I want to fix that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the episode though. So we see, and for those who, watch Bravo, you might have saw this preview. And that's one thing that's really, really nice about Bravo. The past couple of episodes with all the shows, they've been showing like the preview of the next episode like right away. So this one, I could probably breeze through. This first thing I kind of breeze through pretty quickly because I already saw it. Okay, so we see Ashley with her mom at the garden center, basically buying some plans, getting ready for her housewarming party that she mentioned she was going to throw next week. And for this last week in this episode. And she's pretty much inviting everyone in a group, including the new housewife that we have not met yet on this show, NNeka. And she also discussed her status with Michael, her husband, who she separated from with her mom, Sheila. And her mom is giving the same reaction as I would give because, child, anyway. Sheila then asked about Candace for a couple of things, because for those who don't know, Michael is actually suing Candace. Yes, the fellow cast member. So Ashley's estranged husband is suing Candace on the show. But like in real life, not actually, it's not a show thing. He's suing her in real life for defamation. And she's claiming that Ashley's claiming in her confessional she knows nothing about it. And she's also not inviting her to the housewarming party, that being said. And the way she makes it sound like this is her decision to not invite her to the housewarming party. And she also makes it sound like she has no idea why Michael's suing her and doesn't know anything about it. And for those who are new to Real Housewives of Potomac, Ashley is the most stereotypical throw stones, hide the hand. Like, she is such a pot stirrer. And she also, other thing that you may not be aware of, she does not like Candace. She never has. She always pretends that she likes her only to stab her in the back. So this kind of energy, whatever. I'm just kind of like, probably moving forward, to be fully transparent, if there's any type of, I guess, reviews or like scenes with Ashley only, I might be breezing through them, because based off of what happened at the end of this episode, you'll understand why. I didn't feel this way watching the episode until the end, and now I'm over her. But anyway, you'll find out why as we progress. So, yeah. Next, we have Mia meeting Karen at the park, and they're actually like in DC, because you can see the monuments and stuff like right like as part of the background. So it's kind of cool. And it actually looks like it might be the spring. I'm thinking it's the spring because it looks like really, really nice weather. Spring or summer, I don't know, but either way, it's beautiful out there. And it was Mia's decision. They pan over to not aired scene where we show Mia contacting Karen to get together with her and to clear the air, alluding to what Gordon and her were talking about last week. And so it shows what so immediately Karen greets her with a handshake, and Mia's annoyed about it. She feels away. She feels like she should be getting a hug. And Karen's like, no, you don't earn this hug anymore. No, you get a handshake. If we're going to start afresh, handshake. And the way Karen has just been standing on this handshake, I love it. But if it was me, I wouldn't talk to Mia ever again. But we're on a reality TV show and we're all here to make the coins, right? Okay. So anyway, Mia's like, hey, thank you for coming, getting all the pleasantries out the way. And then Karen starts off saying how she feels and like saying, hey, I think I'm owed an apology. And then Mia has the audacity to be like, why? Even though she knows why. She literally stated in the episode before with Gordon why. But yeah, she doesn't know why. So Mia's like, no, just say it all. And so she does. Karen, of course, has no problem saying it all, saying what the issues are. And then Mia doubles down and says, well, no, this was told to me. Because for those who don't know, Mia immediately started trying to spread some rumors about Karen and her institution. What she calls her marriage. She calls it institution. That Karen was basically cheating on her husband. And yeah, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. And so Karen calls her out. Mia explains. And so then Mia kind of apologizes. I personally wouldn't accept that apology because it was like halfway of apology, and I can't stand halfway apologies. You need to be all the way sorry when you address me, and then if you can't be all the way sorry, then either come back and talk to me when you're all the way sorry, or you can just like not talk to me again. I'm sorry, I'm one of them. I ain't got time for you to be wasting both our times, especially mine, because my time is valuable. But anyway, so Mia explains what's going on with the marriage, because then Karen asks, like, hey, so what's going on with your marriage? And Mia, explains what's been going on with her and her finances and whatnot. And then she basically kind of throws Gordon under the bus, and she's like, yeah, initially I didn't believe Gordon. And so the funny thing is, Mia, she's such a liar and so not smart, because she's one of those people who talks a lot. But when she talks a lot, she doesn't realize she's telling on herself. So right away, when she's sharing with Karen what's going on and kind of sharing how she did not believe her husband at first, Karen is looking at this like, oh, you can't be trusted. Because, the man in your life, the person in your life, the person you choose to be your person should be the number one person in your life, right? If you are so quick to throw them under the bus, who will you not throw under the bus? And also, too, for those who are not aware, who did not watch last season, Mia also did have a whole entire huge falling out with her real life best friend, and pretty much put that relationship in the garbage too. Like, Mia has kind of shown character-wise that she doesn't have that much good character about her. At least through the show. I don't know none of these people in real life. Let's keep it a buck. I ain't talking about in real life. I don't know these people. There's that. But anyway, so she basically also blames her behavior on her drinking, and Mia immediately says she stopped drinking, but she's still drinking wine. And Karen gave her a side eye look that we're all giving her, because like, girl, quit saying that you stopped drinking if you're still drinking wine. Just say you stopped drinking hard liquor. Seriously. And if you really think your drinking is a problem, I hate to break it to you. If your drinking is seriously a problem, it doesn't matter what you substitute it with. Alcohol is alcohol. And Gordon even said that last episode. But this chick, anyway, she's given delusional. And so Karen does say she gives her a side eye, because Karen's one of those people who's horrible at hiding her facial expression. which is why I love her. And she does say to her that the relationship could be repairable, and and they're glad, both of them like kind of come to an understanding. Like, we're glad we could speak out and talk about address the differences. But in the confessional, Karen straight up says like, "Hey, I don't really believe or trust Mia. I feel expect her to flip like a light switch whenever it's convenient for her." And honestly, I completely agree with Karen. And one of those things about Karen is, and one of the reasons why I love her on this show, or just she's one of my favorite housewives just in general, to be honest, is because she tries to avoid the drama, but if you take her there, she's going to give it to you. But she's not someone who goes, she doesn't invite drama to your door. She tries to be super diplomatic, but just don't play with her though. Don't play with it. That is Karen. And I love that because I feel like I'm kind of like that too. Don't start none, won't be none. It's one of those. Next thing, I should mention this. Candace was not really on this episode that much. It's because it's kind of an episode that's more catered towards Ashley this episode. But, and that's kind of why, but I hope this is not telling of the whole season that Candace isn't really going to be on the show much. I know she's booked and busy, but I need to see some Candace. But anyway, I just said that because this is the next scene is a short scene with Candace, and she's at her house, and her manager comes to her door, and they're discussing her career and her plans to basically go on the second leg of her deep space tour, which is still through city wineries. And I mentioned that before. And she also is almost towards the end of her record contract. So I don't think we knew this last season, but we did know that she signed a record deal. I don't think it was mentioned how long the record deal was, but we do find out now in this episode that it was only for a year. It was a year deal. And so now they're going to try to use that momentum to try to get a better deal. And honestly, that was smart. I love that Candace did a short deal. Don't be locked down with the record company for life, and find something that's more beneficial to you with your career and keep it pushing. So I love that. So it sounds like from what I'm hearing so far, Candace is doing a good job of knowing, what timing, and it seems like she's doing a good job with her finances and budgets and all that with the tour and navigating basically being a music artist very well, it sounds like. But it does come up about opening acts because they're doing the second leg of the tour, and there were a couple places where they already had the opening acts on lock, and then the conversation about Chicago, my city, gets brought into play. And the manager suggests, well, why don't we invite Drew Sidora? And Candace, to my surprise, gave like a shady response to that. And I don't know what happened, but child, it seems like Candace and Drew don't see it for each other. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully we find out more. I don't know if we're going to, though. That's the thing about it, because for those who don't know, Drew Sidora is a housewife from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And in this past season, Candace was actually in Atlanta touring, doing the, doing her tour, the first leg of the tour. And she actually invited Drew Sidora as like an opening act for the Atlanta stop the first time around. And everyone was just like, if you would have saw it, she didn't really do much. All she did was just runs with her. She was just like, and for those who don't know what I mean by a run, so Candace would be like, duh, and then Drew was like, duh. Like they just kept repeating each other's thing instead of Drew being a true actual opening act performing her music, which was weird because Drew actually has her own music. Very new to having her own music, but she does. So, yeah, I'm still curious to want to know what happened there, but that was very odd. And Candace she was throwing a lot of shade with her expression, but she did kind of try to say in a professional way, like, hey, we sold out these tours without having so many major names in it the last time around. Let's not do that this time around. So I don't know if she was rolling her eyes at the fact of using a name, or opening another name to kind of bring people on, to her tour, or it was the fact that she has an issue with Drew Sidora. I couldn't figure it out. Y'all let me know in the comments which one it is, because I was trying to figure that out. I was like, I want to know the tea. Which one is it? Because that was the whole entire episode. I was like, I'm going to remember this because I want to know what happened there. I don't know if we're going to find it out, though. In the next scene, we have Rob and Juan. And I say it that way because I think I already mentioned in the episode before, I'm sorry, but I find Robin very boring. I just do. And that's probably why I did not love the first episode, because I find Robin boring. I just do. Let me know if I'm like alone on that, but I do find her boring. But anyway, we're basically at their house. Juan, also side note, he really wants to, he's making more appearances than ever this season. It's because you ain't got no job, sir? Trying to help your, wife earn that paycheck, huh? You didn't care about it when you had a job. Interesting. Anyway, they are discussing the conversation, the friend invention that Giselle put together. Robin's, talking to Juan about it. And Juan is giving the reaction he always gives. He's like, I don't care. I'm not going to change how I live my life because of rumors. And Robin now with him, she's like, you know what? I don't care either. And it's like, Robin, if you didn't care, we wouldn't be talking about it still. Or do you really not care and this is your only storyline you have on this show? Because you're boring. I don't know, just saying. I don't know. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry. There wasn't really much to this scene. And also, one more thing that did happen in this scene that was more interesting was actually Juan. Juan did open up a little bit about that, how he feels. He feels like, he's going to get through him not having a job, because that did get, put out there that he no longer has a job because he got fired. And then he does, speak about the lawsuit, because he was at the time in the middle of a lawsuit regarding a student claiming that he was negligent in reporting behavior of another coaching staff that was inappropriate, and he ignored it, according to the lawsuit. So that did get addressed a little bit, it got talked about a little bit, and then the articles were put up there while this was being discussed a little bit. But that was pretty much all that happened in this scene. Not much else to see. Next, we finally meet this new housewife, NNeka. And in the first scene, it is her with her new husband, and they're newlyweds basically. Ike, yeah, his name's Ike, and they're being introduced, by the way. They're checking out their new home that they just purchased. And I love the graphics, by the way, that these producers do. I don't necessarily love all the production stuff that they do with this franchise, but I do love the graphics and what they do with this. So one of the things that we did see, and I guess the other reason why I did enjoy this episode, side note, is because we got to look at two homes. This is like HGTV meets Real Housewives, and I was so happy about it because I love that. Just saying. Anyway, so we see that NNeka is just purchased a home in Potomac proper, and it was very much stated there. And the house is 5 bedroom, 5 bathroom, 1,600 square foot. Sorry, wow, I lied. Not 1,600, wow. 6,000 square foot. I don't know how I got those numbers mixed up. And she did share that the closing was delayed because she failed to list her multiple properties. She basically was like saying, I didn't know that generational wealth was going to cause delay. And I want to like this. I want to like her. I want to like her because she's new and I want to give her a chance. But I do not like this first scene a little bit because she did come off super pretentious. But that is kind of good as a housewife because the whole goal is to like wealth and ambiance. The difference is this is one of the only franchises where most people ain't really got like that. So it does come off a little odd when you see it because most of the women on this particular franchise don't really have like that. Or they did at one point, and then about time they were on the Real Housewives, it was no longer a thing. Just throwing it out there. And so it is mentioned that she has 2 lakefronts in Wisconsin. She has 2 properties in Maryland, 1 in Florida, 1 in Georgia, and 4 properties in Nigeria, she thinks, because she's Nigerian. And we find out that her husband is in internal medicine, so he's a doctor, a medical doctor, but he also owns a nightclub. And we also find out they're both trying to have kids. Even though they just got married, they are trying. And so that's what we know about her so far. Outside of that flex for no reason, because it felt like a forced flex, it didn't feel like it was a flex that came through naturally. It's a wait and see for me when it comes to her. Just because, again, I don't like when you forcefully throw out there that you got some shmoney. Just let it flow naturally, because if you got money, you don't really have to force saying it. It'll just come out in conversation without you having to do that. Like, not to go into the Real Housewives of the past. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, next. Speaking of a Nigerian, we then come across Wendy Osefo, Dr. Wendy Osefo. And she's meeting with her producer, Marcia, they appear to be in a home, but it turns out they're actually in the studio. So she is shopping around for a studio for a talk show. She wants to do a talk show. She's creating a new show that seems to be, she wants it to be politics meets politics and serious topics meets Ratchet. Because she is multi-hyphenated. So she's a mother, wife, professor, talk show host, entrepreneur, and friend. And for those who don't know, she actually is on, I think it's CNBC or something like that, or she was on that as a political commentator. So she really is that girl in real life, which is why I love her. And her skin just always be glowing. Ooh, I love it. And just beautiful. But so she wants it to hopefully take off and it get picked up with a network. And she decided that the name will be Wine with Dr. Wendy. I want to believe this being real because she does have the experience of being on talk shows, but I am side-eyeing you, Wendy, just a little bit, because every season you have a new hustle you're trying to do. And I'm confused. I mean, I know you will hustle hard. I know that's what you're doing, but girl, and the reason why I'm saying this is because last season she actually got sick because she was overworking. And so now you're picking up something else? Girl. It's like first season or second season. No, it's her second season, Candles. Season before that, like it's always something with her. Oh, author, because I forgot she does have a book. It's just crazy though. All right, so next, Karen invited Ashley, Mia, and Giselle to a Pilates studio. Initially, it is just Ashley and Mia with her at the studio with the instructor starting the workout. Ashley's asking, hey, is it okay if I work out? Because she just got her new boobs only a couple months ago, and she calls them Demi and Diamond. Okay, next. So they are starting the routine and whatnot. They do start the routine, and Giselle joins them as they're literally spread wide eagle. They're literally just like, oh, like on the Pilates machine. And the way it was actually quite comical because the entrance to the Pilates studio is where they're just like this, but it's their legs, just wide eagle. And so Giselle's just like, what? It was funny. This whole thing was actually kind of cute because what ends up happening is before they really do get into the workout, they go onto the recline machine recliner machine for Pilates. Side note, before I go on with this thing, I really do want to go to a Pilates studio and try it out. Those who are in the Chicago area, let me know if there's any cool Pilates studios to go to because I am curious. I do want to check it out. I might actually do some Googling, schmoogling, and check it out just to see what it's like because I really do want to get more into Pilates. I think I mentioned in my other Get Fit With Me series how I've always been apprehensive about Pilates, but I do want to give it a go. Anyway, so back to the scene. Karen states that she's basically prepping for her triple 20th birthday. And I love that she calls it triple 20. I love that description. I'm about to have my double 20th soon. But anyway, at first, like, I forgot who was asking what that was. And it was Giselle asking just to be shady, because I know she was being shady. She knew what that was. She wanted Karen to say her actual age. She still didn't. Mia did instead. But she did state that she is on a health journey due to, she did discover that she has some calcium blockage in her arteries. And it's important for her to, stay healthy and whatnot. And honestly, if you've been watching like last season, you already saw that Karen that was already trying to do that. She wasn't eating like chicken anymore. It's been kind of like a thing of hers for the past couple seasons that she's really been working on staying healthy because her mom does have history of cardiovascular related issues. So she does not want to, she doesn't want to continue that. So she's trying to do her part to prevent that from being a thing so she can live a long and fulfilling life. And anyway, this is actually her first time doing Pilates, but she's like, you know what? We're just going to try to find something that'll work, something that'll stick, and we'll go from there. And so she's basically been, just doing things through diet and exercise. And y'all already know how I feel about that. I love that for her. And I love that for anyone in general. I think that's very valuable. And that's kind of one of my own principles that I try to live by as well. So then we see them working out and the producers. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I'm dead. So the thumbnail that you see here at the beginning of the episode, yeah, that's where that's from. Because they literally decided they were going to make this into the 80s workout video. And they have everyone being beginners except for Ashley, because Ashley has definitely done Pilates before. That's kind of been her thing for most of her time on this show. She's always been the one who's been more of like into like health and wellness. So not surprised that she's the only one that really kind of knows what she's doing. Of course, she did ask for some pointers from the instructor, but that's just to be expected. If the instructor is there, you're going to ask. But yeah, so that little edit was funny. I was cackling a little bit. And anyway, so afterwards, after they get done, Mia does excuse herself to go to the restroom briefly. And Giselle asks Karen about what's the status with you and Mia's friendship? What's going on with that? And Karen does just, state plain and simple. She's like, hey, we're working on our friendship, working on improving it. But right now we're just, we're no longer going to talk about rumors as if they're facts. We're going to only address facts. And Mia kind of, because she did walk back in there as they were talking about it. And then Karen's like, no, this is what I'm talking about. So it didn't lead to no fight or anything like that. But Mia did kind of reiterate that she's annoyed by this handshake thing that they got going on. But like, Karen's like, hey, I'm not going to be fake with you. If it's going to take time for us to build a friendship and to build trust, I'm not hugging someone who I'm just acquaintance with. And right now you're an acquaintance. And I'm like, that part. And so then Giselle does mention like, okay, so if we're going to go off of like facts, not rumors, she did state her concerns about Robin, what's going on with Robin, and asked Karen, hey, because, okay, for those who don't know, Karen and Robin has really never, ever seen it for each other. Like, ever. Like, the duration of this show, they have never seen it for each other. But last season, it was really bad as far as how much they weren't seeing it for each other. I think before, they just always passively, aggressively did some digs here and there, and they would keep it pushing. But last season's when it kind of imploded, where it was very clear they don't like each other. Giselle's like, hey, so don't you owe, she's like, hey, Karen, don't you owe Robin an apology? And Karen's like, for what? And then Giselle, mentioned what it is. And, Karen does, kind of, because Karen, like I mentioned before, she's diplomatic. So she's like, you know what? There were some things that weren't right that she said to me. She probably owes me an apology. But also there was things that I probably said where I owe her an apology. So we probably owe each other an apology. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but maybe we can clear the air that way. And so Giselle's happy with what she heard there. She's like, okay, I'll just relay the message to Robin, and maybe we can come to an understanding. Because that's all it is. It's just like, let's be cordial at least. And so Karen's like, okay, that's fine. And then from there it goes into Karen asking about Ashley and Michael, and if they're going to get a divorce, which we know was I don't think it's ever happening. I don't think she's getting a divorce from that man. As well as a lawsuit that Michael has with Candace, and Ashley still stating she'll know nothing about it. I don't believe that. And, okay, I'm about to be honest. Come here. Based off of Ashley's character throughout all the seasons of this show, this is my theory. I think this lawsuit was Ashley's idea. Because I know Ashley does not like Candace and never has. And I think she's making it where Michael's the one who's doing the lawsuit, so it's not really her that's doing it. And since they're estranged or they're no longer together, it can't be her. Because in real life, I don't think that Michael really cared about what Candace said. because Candace did say that he, was handsy and did some inappropriate things with a certain person. But like those rumors, which partially are not allegedly, are not all the way rumors, because there has been accusations about him being inappropriate with people for years. So Candace being the one person saying it and putting a name on it, that's enough where you lose businesses, because that's what Ashley said. And it's not believable to me. So that's my theory. And I really feel that way now, especially how the episode ended. Follow me on that, okay? Just keep that in your pocket and we'll go from there. So Karen's like, so why haven't y'all talked to each other? Like, as far as Candace and Ashley. Ashley does finally state that it actually was Candace's decision not to talk to her. I was like, finally, Candace, because the reason why this cycle back and forth has happened is because Candace is, at least on this show, she comes off to be a super nice person. Because again, mind you, let me just make this clear so that I don't have to keep saying this. When it comes to everyone I'm talking to on these reality shows, I'm talking about the show. I don't know none of these people in real life. I don't even know if half these stories are real or not. I'm just going off of what I see. Okay. So don't get offended because I don't take any of it seriously, and neither should you. Next. So Candace finally does stop, trying to make fetch happen, because for years on this show, it was a one-sided thing where Candace would continue to try to be friends with Ashley, because on paper, they really should be good friends. They should be good Judies, because they're around the same age group. They're both like in their late 30s, early 40s. I don't know their exact age, but they're in that demographic, basically my demographic. And they both have been in pageants. They're both ex-pageant girls. And they seem like and they're both beautiful, intelligent women. But Ashley just has this thing where she just doesn't like her. Because I think, partially what I think she's jealous of the privilege that Candace has. Because Candace comes from money. She comes from excellence. Ashley does not. She had to marry an old man to get that. That's my opinion on that. But I don't know the real reason why they don't like each other, but it definitely was a one-sided thing for a very long time. But finally, Candace is finally no longer putting energy into someone who doesn't like her, which is great, because it's been very clear on everyone's screens that this lady does not like you. Every chance she has gotten, she has stabbed her in the back. Anyway, so after the reunion last season, Candace actually sends a text to her saying such thing, like, you always conspire against me, which she ain't lying. No lies being told here. There's like literally footages of it from previous seasons as evidence that she's done this. But Ashley is a queen of liking to play dumb. And Ashley in her confessional saying, I've never done such a thing, which that's a lie. Anyway, so then Mia asks if Candace is invited to her housewarming. She is not. But it pans over to Karen. And Karen's like, she's not going to be able to come anyway because she's going to be in LA. And I love it because when you look at this scene, Giselle is just, that jealousy, I can see it all over your face, girl. I can see it. It's a disease. To be jealous of someone else is such a disease. It's such a disease. And Ashley thought she was doing something saying she's not invited, but like, I love Karen kind of had her back in a way. She's like, oh, she's not going to be around. She's actually going to be in LA. Because they didn't know, but like actually Karen already talked to Candace 4 days before that to let her know about the party. So Candace is aware of it, but Candace is not going to be around because, Candace has a life outside the show and has multiple careers outside the show, unlike some of the miserable ladies that are in the scene. I'm trying not to be biased, but man, it's hard not to. It's like we're playing basketball and you throw me the ball. I gotta shoot it. I have to shoot it. I'm a shooter. I just have to do it. Can't help it. Lastly, we do, and I'm not gonna go into this that much longer, but like in the same scene, this was a pretty long scene, by the way. But we have Giselle talking about her man, Jason, and they were talking about the 17-year age difference. And Karen's observation was quite comical because Karen, I think there is a 17-year age difference between her and Ray, but the opposite way, like her man's older. And then even Mia's like, I can't date younger. I don't know how you do that. And Mia's like my age. So she's like, I don't know how you do that. I can't be dating younger like that. And Giselle's like, I know what to do with that. Now, I still don't believe this relationship, but I do believe Giselle probably does, have her fun with the younger men's. She gives cougar vibes. She definitely gives cougar vibes. But yeah, I don't believe the storyline still. Anyway, all right, so this last super long scene, and it's going to be multiple scenes within the scene because this is all at Ashley's party. And I believe, just a heads up, next week is going to start off back at Ashley's party. But so this is going to be one long scene. So Ashley's finally having her housewarming party. Giselle's the first one to get there. And I actually, for once, I love Giselle's dress. I love that dress. That was a nice looking dress. And I'm saying that because Giselle normally can't dress. Her fashions are not, She has a pretty face and that's about it. Like that's her thing. But I actually like her dress. But anyway, so we find out because Uncle Lump, which is Ashley's uncle, he's there. And he's asking all the pressing questions, all the questions that people want to know. Like, because out of everyone in Ashley's family, Uncle Lump's like the only one that seems like they have some sense. Sheila is too dependent on Michael and Ashley's finances for her to really say much because, okay, I think I've alluded to this before. For those who are new to the show, Ashley has had a rough life, a super rough life. And the only financial stability she's ever had is her getting with Michael and being married to Michael. The only problem is Michael is extremely problematic and has a lot of sexual accusations against him. And has had them for years. So, and he's an older man who is not the most attractive looking guy at all. So I'm saying she a gold digger. But she ain't messing with no. Y'all know the rest of the words. Anyway, so Uncle Lump, because he comes from more of a traditional family, he's just like, so y'all ain't getting divorced? What's happening here? So we know this is her storyline. Will she or will she not get divorced? I'm pretty sure that's part of the storyline besides her housewarming, because this is already done out the way. The housewarming is happening now. So I think her other one is going to be about this divorce. Again. And honestly, I think, okay, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it because the way I will just keep my foot on Ashley's neck and the way I want to now because of how this episode ended, I'm going to stop. Anyway, let me continue. Let's continue. So Uncle Lump's asking all the questions. And Uncle Lump's looking at her like she's crazy because the math isn't mathing about her not getting his divorce and her still going on vacation with Michael and all this other stuff. But Michael is watching the kids while this party's happening, so there is that. Even though she has a nanny and she could be doing it too, but it's also $3.99 if her estranged husband's watching it, right? So there's that. And Karen appears next and looking good. One thing about Karen, for how old she is becoming, she is a pretty woman. I would only wish to be at that age and still looking like that. Woman is stacked. You look good, girl. You look good. And then next, Mia appears, and she appears next at the house. And again, Karen's still giving that handshake. She ain't hugging her. And Mia in her confessional, while they're talking about the house and whatnot, Mia is like, this is nice, but where's the water at? Just trying to shade Ashley. And okay, y'all already know, based off of this review, I don't care for Ashley. And now I kind of really don't like her at all. But Mia, I would tread lightly, friend. You don't have a house that's in your name. You don't even own a house. You're renting. And you're renting a penthouse that's 1,500 square foot. That's the size of most people's apartments in most places. I'm not even going to say that, like, and you're doing it with you and your children and your husband. So for someone, you're saying a whole lot for someone who ain't got nothing. I mean, I know Ashley got it through the ways of her kind of like shady husband, but the thing is, at least her house is in her name. And also she has a house. So I would like simmer down on the shade. Respectfully. I feel like if you're going to shade someone's like place of dwelling, you better have one too. And her shade didn't even land because she's just talking about where's the water at. I'm sorry, if she wants to have a nice, airy, cool looking like place that's giving beach vibes, why can't she do that? It's her house, it's her money. It actually didn't look bad at all. So that it just didn't land. So I would say, Mia, you need to just not too much on that. Not too much on that, friend. Not too much on that. Next, Cherie shows up, and her and Karen are like wearing almost a very similar outfit. Karen does this, but that's all she does. They're kind of paying each other dust. And I'm hoping it stays that way. I'm gonna need that beef between Charisse and Karen to just stay cooked, because I'm sorry that when they tried to reintroduce that beef last season, that was from like season 2. No. So I'm glad Charisse she was there, but she wasn't. That's a perfect type of Charisse appearance. Her being there, but not really being there. Next, we have Ashley doing a brief house tour, and she is comparing her house to like her penthouse with her ex. And one thing that was nice is we got to see her whole house with this tour. The tour was actually a tour. When she was in that penthouse, the scenes were always in the same spot of that place. It was never anywhere else. And then also too, she does say that she got inspiration from like a beach house that they had from a while ago. So apparently, I guess they had a beach house like from 7 years ago. And I don't know if this was season 1 or 2, but it definitely was an earlier season, Real Housewives of Potomac. And so that's where she kind of got the inspiration from to do the house completely like that. And I do like it. I like that it's light and airy. Like, that is nice. And so while this house tour is happening, Wendy, and it's just the beginning of the house tour. I kind of skipped ahead to mention how the rest of the house looked, because we don't need to go into the details of all that. But you already know I like that because I was like, again, HGTV meets Real Housewives. I like it. So Wendy appears next and she hugs Ashley, Karen, and Charisse. She pays Giselle and Mia dust. Love it. Love it. Ari said in other reviews, that'd be the kind of time I'm on. If I don't mess with you, I'm not going to make a scene. I'm not going to make a mockery, but you don't exist to me. And there's people out there that can attest to that is literally how I give it up. I went to a wedding recently and there were some people that are there that I didn't mess with anymore. I was supposed to even sit at the table with them because the friend whose wedding I was going to didn't realize that we fell out. And I didn't sit at that table. I totally sat at another table and kept it cute. And I never explained it to the bride or nothing. I was like, nope, I'm not sitting at this table. My other friend who was there with me, who was at a different table, her husband was supposed to be there. And she was like, you know, you can pretend to be my plus one since my husband isn't here. I was like, good, cool. Because I was going to sit there and be quiet and just eat my food and leave. Like, she's like, wow. I was like, yeah. She's like, you really don't, when you're done with somebody, you done. I'm like, yeah. When the beef is cooked, for me, the beef is cooked. I don't have time going back and forth with you. I'm never going to be doing that. Instead, the thing that's worse between love and hate is indifference. I just become indifferent. Side note, I forgot to mention this. In the Juan and Robin scene, they did have a meter when she was talking about the situation. And it was Robin's angry meter. It had indifferent and it had angry, and she just stayed at indifferent. That was kind of funny. I forgot to just mention that. I'm hoping they reuse that for as the season goes, because I would like to see her have another emotion besides indifferent. Because she just lets Juan do whatever. And the only reason why I'm doing that, because, okay, for those who didn't see the trailer, there is a scene where she's just sitting on the curb crying. And I want to know what led to that. I just want to know. Because that was the most intriguing thing that I've seen of Robin ever. So I would like to know what led to that. That's it. That's all. Okay, so back to what Wendy did. So Wendy states in her confessional after she paid those two deaths, I'm no longer going to be civil. I greet who I want to greet. And I'm just like, when you write, you write. The tour continues though. Giselle shades a look at the house. And again, not too much, Giselle. You have a Lego house that has a lawsuit written all over the backyard of how to get to your backyard because you didn't let people go in through the front. Not too much. Anyway, so after the tour, we see Deborah, Ashley's friend, she's not a real housewife. She's not even a friend of. She just is Ashley's friend that Ashley just keeps trying to make happen. This is the case of Ashley, I feel like, trying to make fetch happen along with Deborah trying to make fetch happen. And Deborah, for those who don't know, that is Ashley's friend that in last season, Candace ended up calling her a Sesame Street looking character. Because she kind of does look like a Sesame Street looking character. Is it shady when it's kind of true? I mean, it might be, but is it? Anyway, so Wendy's look on her face when she pops up was priceless though, because Wendy was just like, she literally just had this look, and she did not even try to hide it. She had the most screw look on her face, and that's another thing I love about Wendy. Wendy and Karen, I would say of everyone, are the two people on this show that will give like a great face as far as like the reaction, and it's kind of like they're giving the reaction that someone at home would be giving, but like is on the show. And Wendy was just like, and she shades her to bits in her confessional. She's just like, the liar is here. Why is liar? She was like, why is liar here? So she calls her liar. Because for those who don't know, besides Deborah trying to make something happen and lying about Candace's husband, she did the same thing to Wendy's husband too, calling Wendy's husband Happy Eddie. And yeah, unprovoked, don't even know these people, only is on the show because she's friends with Ashley. Is not even an official friend of. And so then also also Wendy in her confessional, she's just like, I know it's a housewarming party, but the kids' entertainment came early. Like just alluding to the like a callback to her being called a Sesame Street looking character. So next we have Robin appearing next, and she just, stating, hey, wherever the rumors are, I don't care. Then NNeka appears, yay! So the ladies are finally meeting NNeka. And by the way, I should say this ahead of time. There are two enunciations of how to say it, and I don't remember which way I'm saying it, if it's correct or not. So charge it to my heart. Don't charge it to my heart. I'm trying. I'm not really good at enunciating things. So I just want to say that ahead of time that, yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I'm giving the right enunciation. So there's that. All right. So where we last left off is that, yeah, NNeka appears next, and she's first, she meets Charisse, and they kind of get a good kiki. And then she meets the rest of the ladies. The producers then ask Wendy in the confessional if they have met or seen each other before. Since I think it might be just because they're both Nigerian. I don't really understand what that's about. Because I guess to me, and why I'm confused is I thought, especially in major cities, it's not uncommon for there to be a lot of Africans. I don't know, I guess because I'm in Chicago, and in Chicago we have a decent Nigerian, we have a lot of Nigerians here in the community. We also have a lot of Ethiopian people in the community. And I guess for me, I will just never assume that they know each other just because you're from the same country. Because Nigeria is a large country. Just saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too overly liberal about it. I don't know. So I was just kind of confused by that question, but I don't know if the question was more aligned to what kind of mess is going to happen later on. Because again, a lot of the confessionals, when they do confessionals on these shows, they're doing it a lot of times after things have happened. So they're coming in later on after they filmed things, and then they're having discussions about stuff on the show. So maybe that's why. I don't know. But anyway, I just found that was kind of weird and odd that they literally asked Wendy that. So, and Wendy just says, yeah, I've seen her in passing, but that's about it. I don't really know her. And so I'm guessing maybe this is like a breadcrumb for the rest of the season of how things are going to go. But it's not even really a breadcrumb. It's kind of like a hint because the party's going to start pretty early when it comes to this. But so while this is happening, Ashley asks to speak to Wendy in private while everyone else is still just, getting to know NNeka. And Wendy congratulates Ashley on, getting the house and having a beautiful home. And NNeka is getting to know the rest of the ladies in the meantime. She's talking about, how she's an attorney and how she got newly married and all that good stuff, the pleasantries, if you will. And so while that's happening, Wendy states how she values, Ashley and her friendship, but Ashley does things that gives her pause. She's kind of like, you do these things where I have to keep my good eye on you. I don't know. And what I like to call is discernment. I feel like Wendy has great discernment. And I feel like most people in this life do not have that. But discernment is very valuable in life. Anyway, so she says this, especially when it comes to her friendship with Deborah. Because that was one of the elephants in the room. She's just like, I'm a little confused. Especially when it comes to that. Because Deborah wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Ashley. Ashley's the one who continues to force this lady on TV. I'm sure Deborah wants to be on TV, but if it wasn't for Ashley, we would never see this lady. And considering the fact that she has made some accusations about not one husband, but two husbands on this show, and you are still just keeping her around, it does look away. So I would agree with Wendy on that. And Wendy states plain and simple, she's like, I'm concerned that you will eventually you'll eventually stab me in the back. That's my concern. And there's nothing else to be said there. So the way, and this is where Ashley had me messed up at. This right here. Ashley states to Wendy that she feels like the reason why they're not as close as they would like is because they don't spend enough time with each other. She just totally ignored everything that she said about that and just said that. And so they don't spend enough time with each other to build trust. And she would love for Wendy to open up more to her and not have her guard up. And I'm just thinking to myself, so that you could stab her in the back. And the reason why is because I kind of saw where this is leading to. And the thing that bothers me that I find really annoying with Ashley is she thinks she's so clever, but someone who has enough discernment can see right through it right away. And I called the play before the play happened. So Ashley immediately, within this same sit down, starts being messy and talks about how, by the way, speaking of, me and NNeka were talking about you to each other. And she's ignoring the fact that NNeka did not ask about Wendy. Ashley brought Wendy up to NNeka. So pay attention to that part. So they're talking about Wendy and, Wendy being a doctor. And NNeka just asked a simple question is she in the medical field or does she just have a PhD? And then, she was like, she has a PhD. She's like, oh, a doctor of philosophy. And the way Ashley retold that, she made it sound like it was so shady. And it wasn't. NNeka was, in my opinion, the way they played it back. In my opinion, NNeka was asking for the difference because NNeka's going to ask the difference because her husband is a doctor. I don't think she was doing that to be rude. I think she was doing that because she wanted to know which one. Because there is a difference. There's a difference. Were you in medical school or no? Are you practicing as a doctor or no? A doctor of philosophy, a doctor in getting a doctorate in history is not going to be the same as getting a doctorate in medical science, okay? And Ashley retold it, make it sound like she was shading her. And so Wendy is taking what Ashley's saying as gospel, and she really shouldn't be, because she trusts Ashley kind of to a certain extent and really She shouldn't at all. Yeah. So that was a start. Oh, it's like, if you thought that was like bad enough, oh no, hold my beer, it gets worse. Hold Ashley's Corona, it gets worse. So then, Ashley then they show Ashley, because she's talking to Wendy right now, talking about her culture. Particularly, I guess it's called the Osu. People who are from Nigeria, please correct me. Nigerians, correct me in the comments if I'm saying that wrong. Osu, which is like some ancient thing where you have a curse, basically. And if you have a curse, you're kind of shunned. And some Nigerians still practice this idea, but a lot of people don't anymore. And so Ashley is the one who asked NNeka about this. NNeka did not ask Ashley about it at all. And NNeka just explains what it is. And then Ashley retells it to Wendy and says, oh, well, NNeka asked if you have that going on with you. And this right here is why I am done with Ashley. I have no more grace for her. I'm done with her. I'm done with her. Because that was so disrespectful on so many levels. You're playing with people's culture now. Your ignorant behind is asking about cultural things that are important to them and them only. And then you're going to twist it and make it something else. It was so bad that even the producers in Ashley's confession asked, like, the way you retold that, you made it sound like that NNeka was shading her, like, about that. And Ashley does this so half-hearted, like, oh my gosh. And blames it on the tequila. And I'm like, girl, you have been on this show a mess box from day one. And this is about as low as you can go. So now you kind of can see what is happening. For those who didn't watch a preview of the show for this whole entire season, they're going to be, NNeka and Wendy are going to be at odds with each other. And the reason why they're going to be at odds is because of Ashley. Ashley is putting the two Nigerian sisters against each other. I'm so upset about it. Because the other reason why I don't like this is that, and I wasn't sure if I was going to review this, review Real Housewives of Potomac. I want to because it's one of the only other Black Real Housewives shows. But I hate how toxic it has become. And this right here is so toxic. So because you don't want to be called colorist anymore, because this show has been under fire for the past 2 or 3 seasons about some of the colorism undertones within the show that they refuse to acknowledge, basically. The only people who are acknowledging it are the people who are, darker complected. And really, Candace is not darker complected like that. She's like caramel. She's like the same shade as I am. But like a lot of people on this show are lighter skin. So there is some colorism, elements with it. Because I'm sorry, that is life. That is real life, like for one. So I mean, it's not that surprising that that's a thing. But it's so overly strong. It's really not good TV to watch. I don't like watching it. And I don't like how this ended. So this is literally where the episode ends, because then in the confessional, Wendy is now thinking NNeka is saying all this stuff about her when really it was Ashley who said all this stuff. It wasn't even NNeka at all. Anyway, I'm sorry I got a little fired up there at the end. But I was annoyed. And but anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. If you get anything out of the content, it's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.